Okay. Hi everybody, this is a new topic named as game theory. So what is game theory? It is a mathematical model for decision making. Okay, when we have to choose from two choices whether we are going under loss or gain, then we can use such type of theories. Okay, it is classified as deterministic situation, probabilistic situation and uncertainty situation. So when we are not able to make a correct decision, we always try to minimize our loss or to maximize our profit. So the basic terminology before going to start the numericals on this topic, we must have to be aware about the different terminologies used in the numerical. So first one is the players. So when there is always two players, means one is on winning side and another is on the losing side, so we can call this as a player A or player B. So this is a two player game. Okay, then strategy, there are two types of strategies. First one is the pure strategy, second one is the mixed strategy. Now I will show you an example of how can they be classified. For example, if player A, he have three options to choose, A, B, C. So he will choose only one option. For example, option A, and he will get maximum profit. So he will not use strategy B, he will also not use strategy C. So that type of strategy is called as a pure strategy, means he is only using one strategy. So this can be said that the probability of using strategy 1 is 0, we can say that, and the probability of using strategy 2 is maximum, and probability of using strategy 3 is also 0. So only one strategy has been chosen, so that type of strategy is called as a pure strategy. Now second one is the mixed strategy. So this is there is some uncertainty of choosing a particular type of activity. So at that type of choice we will be using mixed strategy. For example, A cannot choose only a single activity or a single choice. So suppose he is choosing the two choices 1 and 2, maximizing his profit. So now he is choosing two strategies, and instead of one strategy as that of in pure strategy, he is using two strategy to maximize his gain. Okay, so this can be shown as the probability of using the strategy 1 is 25%, and probability of using the strategy 2 is 75%, and probability of using strategy 3 is 0, and the overall probability is 100%. It's always 100%. Okay, so in pure strategy he can use only one strategy, and in mixed strategy he can use 1, 2 or 3 depending on the condition how he can maximize his gains. Okay, now this is third one is the payoff matrix. So this is as we know that we have two players, one is on the winning side and other is on the losing side. So this is player B and this is player A, and this is the payoff matrix. For example, the player B has two options, he can use either strategy 1 or strategy 2. Similarly, player A has also two strategies, for example strategy A1 and strategy 2. So showing this is a matrix which shows the strategies available for player A and B, and this matrix also when we will be able to solve the question, we will show that the loss of one is equal to gain of the other. So this matrix is used to find the maximum gain of one and minimize, and similarly if the gain is 5, again the loss of the other party will be 5, means this is always generally equal. Okay, so this matrix is used for finding the gain and loss also. Now next is the maximum principle. Maximum, this is a combination of two words, maximum and minimum. Maximum principle, this shows that the maximization of the minimum guaranteed gains of A. So suppose that player A is the winning player, so the maximum principle always try to maximize the gains which are the minimum gains. So the maximum principle always try to maximize those minimum gains. Similarly, minimax principle, it is for the player who is losing the game. So this, according to this principle, the loser always try to minimize his maximum loss. Okay, so this is the maximum. Now this is the most important point. This is the saddle point. Saddle point is achieved when the maximum value becomes equal to the minimax value. When this type of condition arises, we can say that there is a saddle point in the payoff matrix. Okay. Now next one is, what is the value of the game? Value of game means if a game has a saddle point, then the value corresponding to the maximum and minimum values will be equal to the value of the game. For example, if this is suppose I am not taking accurately, I am just taking this example. For example, suppose this is the maximum value and this is the minimax value. Okay, so the combination of these two, that is this cell, will be the value of the game. Okay. Now last terminology, 2% zero sum game means if a game has two players, suppose player A and player B, and the gain of A is equal to the loss of B, then this is called as 2% zero sum game. Means the gain of 1 means suppose it is 5 plus 5 and the loss of B is minus 5. So when we will add them, the value becomes equal to 0. So this is called a 2% zero sum game. Okay. So when two players are there in the game and the gain of one is totally equal to the loss of another, then that type of problem is called the 2% zero sum game. Now we will try to find some solve some numericals based on the pure strategy and mixed strategy. I think we are doing one question for each of that, so that you will be able to solve the simple numericals on the game theory. Okay. Now we will solve the game with pure strategies. Okay, this is simple numerical, but you will be able to get familiar with the number of terminology utilized or explained earlier. Okay, so solving we are going to solve a 2% zero sum game with single saddle point. Okay, with this single saddle point. Okay, these terminology have been used earlier, so after solving this question you will be able to clarify all the doubts if you are having anyone. Okay, now question is, what find optimal strategies for person A and person B and the value of the game. Optimal strategies means the strategies like that if A is going to maximize his gain, the person B is going to minimize his loss also. Okay, so this is the payoff matrix. This is person A and he is able to use three strategies, A1, A2 and A3. Similarly, this is the another person B, and he is able to use four strategies, that is B1, B2, B3 and B4. Okay, suppose we are having this cell. Okay, so this cell means the person A is using strategy A2 and the person B is using strategy B2. Similarly, if this cell has to be used, then it means that the person A is using strategy A2 and the person B is using strategy B4. Okay, so the B can use 4 strategy and the A can use 3 strategies. Now for solving this question, what we have to do, first of all we have to find the maximum value. Okay, first of all we will move towards this payoff matrix again, and now what we have to do, we have to find the row minimum values. Suppose we are having 1, 2, 3 rows, so we have to write down the minimum value of this row here, similarly the minimum value from this row here, and the minimum value from this here. Again, after doing that we will be doing the same thing here, but now this time what we are going, we are having the column maximum value, means we have to choose the maximum value from this column, this column, this column, this column, and have to write down the columns also. So starting from the A1, we are going to find the minimum value from the rows. This is minus 5, 4, 1 and 20, so minus 5 has been chosen as this is the minimum value. Similarly here the minimum value is 4, similarly here the minimum value is minus 5. Okay, now again we are going to choose the maximum value from each column. So here the maximum value is 5, here 5 again, here 4 again, and here 20 again. Now what we have to find? We have to find the maximum value from these values. Okay, here you will see that the maximum value, so because we have to find the saddle point, and for finding the saddle point, what is the condition? The maximum value means the minimum gain has to be maximized, and the second one is the minimax value, means maximum loss has to be minimized, and the values must be equal. If the maximum value is equal to minimum maximum, then we can say that we have received a saddle point. Okay, so from here what we have to find? We have to find the maximum value, because A is going to maximize his gains. So what he will do, he will use the maximum principle here. Okay, so the maximum value is 4. This is the maximum value for person A. And similarly, what we have to do, as B has to minimize his maximum loss, so what we have to do, now we have to find the minimax value here. From here you will see that the minimum value is 4. Okay, and this is what? Minimax value. Now we have to check whether the maximum value is equal to the minimax value. Now as we know that the maximum, if maximum value is equal to minimax value, we can receive the saddle point. Now you will see that the maximum value is 4 and the minimax value is also 4. As these two values are equal, then we can say that we have received a saddle point. Okay, saddle point. Now which is the saddle point? As you will move upwards, and from here you will see that there is a cell which arrives due to the crossing of the two lines. Okay, so this is the optimum cell, optimized cell. We can say that this is the strategy, means ke person A will use the strategy A2 as the value lies in the A2 row. Similarly, the person B will choose the strategy B3 as the value 4 comes under B3. So A will use which strategy? Person A will use strategy A2 and person B will use the strategy B3. Okay, and the probability of selection of A2 is, probability of A2 is 1. Similarly, probability of B3 is also 1, and rest of the probabilities means P of A1, A2, A3. We can write this as a probability of selection of different strategies is P. A1 is not utilized, A2 is utilized, and this, and total probability is 1, as it must have to be 1. Similarly, for B, probability B1, B2, B3 and B4, which probability he will use, or what is the probability of utilization of different activities? For B1, no probability. For B2 also no probability. B3. Now also we can also find the probability of strategies to be utilized by B. So as you will see that B1 is not utilized, B2 is also not utilized, only B3 is utilized, and B4 has not been utilized, only 0, 0, 1. So the probability of utilization of B1 is 0, B2 is 0, B3 is 1 and B4 is 0. Now and total probability is 1. So you will also see that this is a pure strategy, because each of the player A and player B both are using only single strategies. Okay, so here also you will see that only A2 is used and only B3 is used by P2. So we can say that this is a pure strategy. Now the value of game, what is the value of game? As this is the corresponding cell, as B can maximize his gain to 4 and A can maximize his gain to 4 and B can minimize his loss to 4. So this is the, as the value received on saddle point is 4, so the value of the game, is the corresponding cell. Okay, so the value of game is 4. Okay, so this is the game with pure strategies. Now we will solve the game with mixed strategies. Okay, now the second form for solution of game theory is games with mixed strategy. Means ke now in this strategies not a single strategy can be utilized. Okay, more than one strategy will be utilized by each of the players. So what is the question? Consider the following payoff matrix and solve for optimal strategies. So we are having two players, player B and player A. Player A can use 1, 2 strategies, and player B can also use 1 and 2 strategies. So starting with the same procedure as that of the pure strategy, what we will find? Initially we will find the row maxima, okay, row minima and column maxima values. Okay, so from this row the minimum value is 7 and from this row the minimum value is 5 and from this column maximum value is 9, and from this column the maximum value is 11. Now you will see that maximin is 7 and minimax is, this is the minimax value, as player B is going to minimize his losses and player A is going to maximize his gains. So what we have to do, we have to always find maximin and minimax value. Now what to now we have to check whether there is any saddle point or not. Now check whether maximin value is equal to minimax value. Now you will see that the maximum value is 7 and the minimax value is 9. So maximum value is not equal to the minimax value. So this means that there is no saddle point in this game. Okay. So how we can solve this question? Now it could be possible that the player A and player B both will be using both of the strategies with some of the percentages or with some of the ratios. So now how can we solve this question? Now for solving this question, what we have to do, we have to make the oddments. Okay. Now see, this is player B, this is what, player A. Okay. These are the values 9, 7 and 5, 11. Now we will find the oddments for rows and columns also. So this is also oddments. Okay. Now there are formulas for finding oddments, but we are going to solve very simple steps. Okay. Now what you have to do, you have to subtract the, you have to choose from each row and each column. What you have to do, you have to select the maximum value. Now in this case the maximum value is 9 and the minimum value is 7. So subtract the minimum value from the maximum, means from 9 to 7. 9 minus 7 is 2, and write this value against the second row. Okay. Now the difference is 9 minus 7 is 2. So we are not writing this 2 in front of this row, but we are writing it in front of the second row. Similarly in 5 and 11 is maximum, so subtract 11 from 5, and this is 11 minus 5 is equal to 6, and we are writing it against the first row. Now if there is a problem, means if you are having this value as minus 5, then again what you have to do, you have to choose 11 and then you have to subtract minus 5 from this, and if this is minus 5, then the value will be 11 minus 5, means 11 plus 6, that is 16. Okay. So always subtract the minimum value from the maximum value and write it against the another row. Okay. Similarly for this column, you will see that the difference between 9 and 5 is 4, and you have to write this 4 right against the another column. Similarly from these two values, you will see that 11 is greater than 7, so subtract 7 from 11. 11 minus 7, that is 4. So these are the values of oddments, and the simple formula is subtract the minimum value from the maximum value and write it against the another row. Similarly for column, subtract the maximum value from the minimum and write against the another column. Okay. Now what we have to find, we have to find the probabilities also, probabilities of using of strategies. Now there are number of formulas, but what you have to do, that is a simple step. Okay. Suppose this is P1. Okay. Now the probability of finding values of use of strategy is very simple. So what you have to do, this is how we can find the strategies of which strategy will A use. Initially this is suppose P1, and probability for using this strategy is P1, and probability of using strategy is P2. Similarly by B, the probability of using this strategy is B1 Q1, and using strategy this is Q2. So finding the probability of using of this strategy is P1. Okay. So P1, how can we find P1? Write down the value of oddments and then write down the sum of both oddments, 6 plus 2. So this is 6 by 8, or this is 3 by 4. Similarly P2 means use of strategy, probability of using of strategy 2 by player A, that is equal to, write down the value of oddment 2 and then the sum of the two oddments, 6 plus 2 means 2 by 8, and this is 1 by 4. Similarly we can find the probability of use of strategy, probability probabilities of use of different strategies by B, player B, then that is equal to Q1, means के probability of using first strategy, that is oddments upon sum of oddments, 4 by 8, that is 1 by 2, and Q2, that is again 4 upon 4 plus 4, that is 1 by 8, or 4 by 8, that is equal to 1 by 2. Now you will see that not a single strategy has been utilized by each of the players. So this is a mixed strategies because some ratios of using the different strategies has been utilized by each of the players. So considering the following payoff matrix and solve for optimal, what we have found that the probability of using a strategy, suppose A1 and A2 are equal to, probability of using strategy A1 by player A is 3 by 4 and of using strategy 2 is 1 by 2. Similarly, probability of utilizing strategy B1 by B1 and B2 is B1 has been utilized by 1 by 2 and this is also 1 by 2. Now if you will add this is equal to 1. Okay, so this is a mixed strategy problem. Now the last thing is that what we have to find, we have also find the value of the game. Okay, now for finding the value of the game, there is again a simple formula or a single trick which we are using. There are number of formulas also. Okay, so we will be using a single trick. So value of game can be found using simple formula. So value of game can also be find it. Suppose we are representing the value of game by B. So what we will be doing? Sorry, I have just removed the matrix. I am writing it down again. No, this is B, A, 9, 5, 7, 11, and these are the oddments. This is again the oddment. Okay, so the oddment is 6, 2, 4 and 4. Now for finding the value of V, you have to do what? You have to multiply 9 by 6 and 5 with 2. 9 into 6 plus 5 into 2 and divide this by the sum of the two oddments. Okay. Similarly, if you will do the same thing, okay, that is if you will do 7 into 6 plus 11 into 2 and divide that by 8, again you will find the same value. Similarly, if you will multiply 9 by 4 and add 7 multiply by 4 with that and use 4 by 4, then again that means that by using these 4 options all values will be equal. Okay, now you will see that this is 54 plus 10 upon 8 means 64 by 8. This is 8. So the value of game is 8. Suppose let us check using the same formula for B also, using B also, you will find that the value will also again be 8. Okay, suppose this is 9 multiplied by 4. 9 multiplied by 4 and 7 multiplied by 4. Okay, and the sum of oddment is 4 plus 4. You will see that 36 plus 28 upon 8 and again this is 64 by 8. This is equal to 8. Now all 4 values will be equal